And now we return to Canis, the bane of every team game player's existence due to its less than subtly but still deceptive turtly nature. We've got a Chief Jaguar and this guy on the south side going UAF and Cybern respectively, both with a first land factory rushing the Hydra, which is the typical thing that you do on Canis. Dockel and Yudi are on the north side, both of them going UEF, and this is going to give us a pair that we have not encountered yet in the tournament. But of course, up to this point, they have gone undefeated since they are still in the winner's bracket. First land factory rushing the Hydro for both of these guys as well. I may have just said that. If so, I'm sorry for the repetitive redundancy, but it bears saying. Yudi finishing up his... Why on earth? Oh, he went for a power generator. That's why he's slightly behind in his build. That does increase your... well, not increase. Sometimes, if you build all 4 mexes and then you build the Hydro, if you're assisting your ACU when you roll into the next power generator build, you will power stall briefly. And going for a single power generator before your Hydro does alleviate that, that power stall, but it's arguable about which way you should actually do it. Typically, you just want to rush the Hydro as quickly as possible when it's this close to your commander. That's the rule of thumb. 2 Hydros for each player. That 200 power income is going to be huge in the early game, letting you get away with many more land factories with far fewer power generators, getting your land spam up as quickly as possible, and getting engineers out into all of this glorious reclaim that you see everywhere on the map. 38 mass in the large chunks, 5 and 10 mass in the small chunks, and there are a lot of chunks. Believe you me. There's another 3 Hydros on each side as you expand out into the map. 1 in the center, 1 to the left, and 1 to the right. Mirrored. This map is mirrored diagonally right along this line. So we've got the same 3 down here for the southern team. Looks like second air for both the Chief Jaguar and this guy. This guy is going to be expanding to the left. Got 2 land factories planned on the outside edge. It's always difficult for me to determine what units to build first, because if you build extra engineers, you get more reclaim, and then you're able to get more factories online later. But if you don't build combat units, this crap gets thrown at you, and then you're in a pickle. Mantis heading out to the front. That is going to be met by Mech Marines and Scouts on 2 different fronts. But look at this. We've got a Jester headed across. That is going to cause some serious pains on the north side. There is already an interceptor out. However, a Chief Jaguar and this guy are both streaming inties towards the north. That Jester is going to skirt all around the outside of this base, killing off every engineer that it can get its grubby little mitts on. And that's going to slow down the expansion of the north side team to a crawl. Skipping past the factories entirely, anti-air producing in those. You don't want to be anywhere near it. Going after the engineers on the other side instead. Yes, run away from the AA. Got to get the engineer over on this edge. Headed way over there. Doesn't even know that there's an engineer there for sure. Just attacked, moved to the general direction he knew an engineer would be headed. And that's going to be attacking... what now? Oh, it's literally attacking the spot on the ground. That was weird. Okay, well, go kill the NG. That would be the best thing you could do right now, but the Jester's gonna get shot down. 18 HP on the engineer. That was... what do we got here? Can I get a waypoint? Can I get a... I would love to see how long this thing takes. That is going to be 23 seconds, so that's like a 1.5-minute walk for an engineer to get all the way over to that side of the map. But there's another Jester that's going to pick it off. It thought it escaped. It thought that it was safe. But no, it was not. 2 anti-air. Might be a little bit much to fly your Jester over there, bro. But they are going to come over to this side. Trying to pick off the engineers on this edge, but there's a total of 4 AA in the vicinity, going to succeed in killing off both NGs and then moving to the left. However, interceptors are now coming out from Dockel and his teammate Yudi. So that is going to shut down that early air aggression. He says as he realizes that there's now a transport being dropped on the other side. It looks like a Chief Jaguar is going for maximum troll after this guy's Jester opening. There's a third Jester on the back end. Now what I'm concerned about is that all of this early game shenaniganery is going to slow down their eco. We can already see this guy is behind at 19 mass per tick, although he did just tick up to 21 with the build of a mass extractor. They are both behind their respective opponents in power, and Achieve does have more mass, but that's not by very much. This is always how you have to balance the early game. How much aggression can you get away with without gimping your later expansions, upgrades, and your mid-game potential? That's what you've got to play it out with. Yudi, I think, has no idea that there are units in the back of his base. The Chief Jaguar, of course, scouting around to see what comes his way. Over in chat, Mr. Rowie has posted that the Jester was actually decreased in cost. Price down from 200 mass to 175 mass, and power requirement, holy cow, 5,000 down to 3,500. So that's like a 1/3 decrease in power cost for Jesters. What on earth were they thinking with that? Please tell me that there was a nerf to the damage or something, but I haven't actually seen that. It looks like they have their full stats available to them. Jester, yup, 55 DPS, so actually more damage than the standard balance has, which is like 53.3, I think. So one of those quote-unquote pretty number balance changes, because the number just looks weird. And we've got 525 health. So yeah, definitely no nerfs in there. Jaguar now pushing tanks over into the base. He has decided to scale back his factory production in favor of securing his home area, but the two land factories over there can still deny the expansion for quite a good period of time, and he does have the point defense there should Yudi choose to suicide tanks into his mini base. But Yudi still doesn't have any idea that that exists. These two tanks could very well have gotten into the rear, so he has no reason to suspect that something is amiss in his rear. Also, no radar on that side of the map. If we take a look at the intel on the south, this guy and Jaguar have scouted pretty much the entire map and done so repeatedly, so they know where everything is at and at what stage it is in upgrades, etc. Very good on the intel. And if we click over to Dockel, Dockel does have a T1 radar here to cover his expansion area, just in case of any run-bys, but still no radar up on the front. Very good to see. I take back what I said to Jaguar and all of those people for all of this time. Radar rings is not a bad thing to turn on. That is right here, your intel, check the box, and it gives you big loops to show you where your radar doesn't cover, as we can see here. So that is your consistent radar outline for everywhere that you have intel, and then a red one for Omni. I can get behind it. I don't know why I took so long to come around. Looks like Yudi has now discovered that there is a base. He got an engineer in there and knows that something is up. Someone has to help out, people saying in the chat. So now this is going to be on a timer for how long it can live, because more and more units are going to be pushed that direction as it becomes more apparent what exactly is going on over there. Chief Jaguar has got two transports at his back. I don't know whether he's planning on picking up all of his T1 units and moving them somewhere, but he does have T1 radar and knows that there are many, many units all around him. So he probably doesn't want to short himself any units right now, because that would lead to run-bys. And run-bys are nasty. Looks like a T2 support factory is up on the front, achieved at 45 mass per tick on 3 T2 mass extractors, upgrading his 4th currently. He's got an HQ in his base, coupled with another support factory, so that's 3 total, all of them with relatively heavy support on the build. I'm curious to see. He is floating himself with reclaim, and he is not doing terribly well on power. 9,600 mass reclaimed and steadily ticking upwards. That's going to make it a little bit difficult for him to scale into mid-game eco. On the north side, we've already got 4 T2 mass extractors plus 2, and then the other 2 are upgrading. Meanwhile, we've already got T2 capped in this base, and then we're probably moving for T2 in another location. No, it appears that Dockel has stopped in favor of building triads with his T2 ACU. So here comes the turtle, guys. Here comes the turtle. Yudi, he has more. Yes, now the ACU moving back. Full scout on the base. He knows exactly what is over there, but still does not have any T1 artillery to try and kill off that point defense. But I think he will be able to kill it with the tanks. Some of the tanks are up on top of hills, allowing them to get a clean firing trajectory on the PD. Down it goes, and down goes the hopes of Achieve Jaguar's troll base. Speaking of hopes, the air hopes have just been dashed. Yudi securing air control with roughly double the amount of interceptors at Jaguar's disposal. Meanwhile, Jaguar is moving up towards the front with his T2 horde. T2 has just come online for Yudi. Sparkies? Yes, Sparkies are now building T2 point defense to try and stay the tide of the blue, but the T1 might just do that as well. Jaguar also has T2 on his ACU, so he'll be able to build forward point defense to counter any pushes from Yudi and just provide general area denial. You move your units up, you build a couple point defense to try and protect the area, give you something to fall back to, and it's all good. T1 units leaking into the base. This guy is going to lose a substantial amount of build power in his home base. T2 engineers trying to finish a T2 power generator. I would definitely be dropping that in favor of T1 point defense. There are rhinos out in the field now, though. Should be able to easily counter the T1 units that are moving in on the base. Nothing left over here, just a handful of tanks, and units on the left will be countered. Looks like Dockel is going to come out ahead in unit count, though, although he is splitting his units, so might not be out of the weather yet. Jaguar taking a fair bit of damage on his ACU, moving up into range of a triad with his commander. That's where you want to step back and edge build a T2 point defense. If you build the point defense right there, just like that, you can ground fire it immediately in front of the enemy point defense and use the AoE to hit the base. Brink, tac snipages. What? I don't see any tac launchers. What on earth are you talking about? There's a tac launcher. It's got 3 in the barrel. You're right, there are about to be tac snipages, and I would hate to see what that's going for. It doesn't look like there are any T2 engineers left alive. All of those were killed off by the T1 incursion. There's a T2 engineer. Definitely need to get that built. There's a TMD. Hopefully that'll shut down the early launches from this guy. Let's see what the intel looks like. Whoops, wrong person. That should be Dockel. Dockel does not know that there is a TMD up there yet. So we've got T1 mexes. That one may have been killed. Yeah, that one may have been killed, but yes. Tac, I'm here. I'm here. Jaguar, how is he doing on his mass nowadays? 64, 110 in the hole. What the hell? AoE on the tac missiles was increased in equilibrium to make sure to kill the mexas that surround them. It's also better at hitting moving targets now, making its use against armies more viable. That is a super dumb change. I'm just saying. They're not supposed to be for going against armies. Alright, Jaguar is trying his best to upgrade his eco. He's building a T2 power generator. He's got reclaim on his T1 power generators to convert those over to the more mass efficient T2. As we've discovered in a stream recently, I was incredibly wrong in mentioning that earlier, that T1 was more efficient than T2. That is blatantly incorrect. And we've got no T2 mexas on... Nope, we do. There's 1, 2 right there. I was looking at these sets. Usually you upgrade the core mexes before you upgrade the outer mexes, but it looks like Jaguar is going for the unconventional route. And this, friends, is what a group of T1 tanks assisting another T1 tanks looks like. It's a perfect little circle. Well, now it's going to get disturbed because they're all moving somewhere, but we at least got to see a little bit of beautiful symmetry for once in this game. Looks like, yeah, AoE increase from 2 to 3, it looks like, on most of the attacks. Meh. Meh. It's okay if Rowie spams. We're all curious about these things, so it's nice to see what is actually going on behind the scenes in the mod. Whether we agree with them or not, knowledge is power. T2 gunships pooling up for Yudi. He's got that T2 factory online, getting ready to exercise his air control, and now things have settled into the relatively turtley state that Canis eventually ends up in. Oh, holy cow. Oh, no. Oh, no. Please tell me this is not going to happen. All right, so there's a bunch of scouts. They know that 2 of those are TAC missiles, so I'm assuming that they know that all 3 of them are, and intel is now being gathered by Dockel on the rest of the map. So hopefully nobody dies to this TAC snipe, because that would be super dumb. We've got a T3 land factory online. That's going to be pushing Loyalists to the front for this guy. And of course those Loyalists, if he was able to anticipate the location of the TACs, he would be able to get the Loyalists underneath them and repel them directly back at the base. That's only going to be of so much use though, because when you have terrain in the way, the Loyalists launch the missile flat across the terrain directly back to the building. There is no arch. Like the TAC missiles arch in a line. They actually fire straight up and then they kind of angle down to the target. So it's shaped like that. When the Loyalist reflects it, it just goes straight back. So that means that if there's any increases in the terrain height at all, it blocks the TAC missiles, which is kind of unfortunate, but it does somewhat balance out the fact that you could bullcrap people with Loyalists in a lot of occasions. Your TAC defense doesn't trigger when it's your own missile being returned to you, so you can't really protect against it. And oh, holy mother of hill blockages, that was a lifesaver. It looks like that was targeted. Hold on, let's draw our line here. That was targeted right, maybe for the T3 HQ. That might be what it was. I think we're going to go with that. It was on the T3 HQ for a hit. But alas, it was not meant to be. T1 radar on the front. Probably be a good point in the game to be moving towards T2. Let's check the intel rings once again. But there are more pressing concerns as Loyalists move into the back of the base. Dockel down at 65 mass per tick. This guy at 83, now 91, probably due to reclaim. Achieved Jaguar at 100 and Yudi at 135. So the north side team has the greatest and the least eco, and then the south side team is somewhere in the middle. So I think it falls out about even, all things considered. That is going to be 3 Loyalists total, 4 Loyalists, but we now have Percival's moving out of the water to deal with the issue. Dockel able to field T3 UEF, and then we've got a stop. No, I was thinking that might go for a T3 air factory, but he's shifting back over to interceptors to maintain his hold on air. Jaguar missing a little bit of HP. He is now launching TACs. He got the TAC missile upgrade on his ACU. Oh, no, no. This is nasty. Is it going to succeed? Now they're in vision. Jaguar moving away, but engineers blocking him. Oh, just barely. With that AoE increase, if he had not control K'd his engineers, he would have been dead. That was very quick thinking on his part. I am so glad that his instant control K hotkey works. Mine does not, so I would have been dead in that situation. I have no idea what's preventing it from working, but it simply doesn't. Looks like we've got a third T3 mass extractor upgrade going down for Yudi, who as of yet does not have a T3 power generator, although he does have one plant. At this point, with the mass income that he has, he really needs a T3P gen before he moves to a T3 air factory, because that's going to be quite the expensive upgrade. Trying again with another 4 TAC missiles, that is not going to work out. And there it goes. He has 6 TML right now, using them effectively, Kappa. Yeah, sorry, I guess. Maybe that was a kill, I think, or maybe a control K. I'm not sure. Are TAC launchers volatile? I don't remember if they are or not. I believe they will say if they are. It looks like that is a nope. Manual launch, blah, blah, blah. Definitely not volatile. So that looked like a control K. Yes, that is exactly why you need instant control K, Rowie. Oh my goodness. They buffed. Hold on. You can read the chat there. They buffed the freaking TAC launcher on UAF. It takes 3 TMD to stop. What on earth? Oh, no. Sorry, that's range. That's minimum range. Sorry. So 3 HP to 2 HP. Okay. I feel a little bit better about that now. Loyalists mopping up the T1 that remains, but they're going to have to retreat in the face of those Percivals. Nerfed though they may be, Percivals are still more than a match for the Siege Assault bots. On the north side, looks like mass pillar spam is still an option, although factories are now moving to T3 for UD as well. So we're going to start seeing mass Percival spam from both players on the north. This T3P gen will lead either into T3 air or into a fat boy. I know not which yet, but I do see a pile of T2 transports being produced. Probably going to exploit that air control that he's worked so hard for over the course of this game and drop some units back in the base. Although I say that not considering the fact that a Chief Jaguar has built up quite a few interceptors. And then this guy has his own pool as well. Dockel has not made very many. So that's going to be a dozen plus 72 with 11 out of fuel. So roughly 100. Let's say 95 interceptors. Then if we go down here, we've got, where were you? We've got 60-ish. That is going to be this guy. 60-ish plus 65. So definitely more interceptors on the south side. That does assume that the south players will be able to coordinate all of their interceptors into the same arena. Because if Yudi engages either or, he will be double the amount of interceptors and easily able to wipe clean the air force of his opponent. Alright. Looks like T3 mass extractors going down on the outside edge as well. Need to get that rebuilt from the TAC missile that hit it just a few moments ago. Achieved is dropping the TAC missile upgrade in favor of shielding, transporting more engineers to his ACU to be able to finish that post-haste. He is hard power stalling, needs to be bothering his teammate for more power, as it's limited in how much he can actually increase his build speed due to his power stall. We've got the full air engagement happening, air win for the Southside team because the engagement was good indeed. That shield is at 90% past the point of no return. And it's complete. Jaguar staying in on it. Mobile shields on the front, soaking damage, leaving more HP on the commander intact. So many Percivals on the front line. There are only 6 at Achieved's disposal, plus a total of 14 Loyalists. But look at the Percival count up here. We've got 4, and then we have got 12 from Dockel. So this is more than enough to swarm these ACUs Jaguar struggling to get out of reach of the enemy Percivals as his shield is drained dry, starting to chip away at the commander health, 900 damage at a time. Loyalist rushing into the mix to go after Yudi's commander, forcing a response. The stun killing. Oh my goodness. That was a swarm to end all swarms, and that is the power of the Cybran stun. Those Loyalists dying, taking offline half the Percivals at a time, eliminating that potential damage and shredding the HP on that commander. That was a completely unexpected death for Yudi. That was brilliant, and it leaves two completely intact players versus Dockel, who is struggling along on his relatively unupgraded bases, all T2 max, T1 on the outside, and a lot of his eco has been raided to pieces. That is 153 eco, 149 eco versus 78. Now that was a good trap, says Plasma Wolf. Yes. That could have ended so differently if just a couple of different things had happened. But I think Yudi was just barely too far forward. If he had been 3 steps back, he could have escaped that. Oh, man. Yes, that is GG right there. Nothing else to be done about it. It's just a matter of how quickly these players can kill Dockel. I'm going to bump it up to 3 speed. I'm going to read chat a little bit more and talk to you guys, and we're just going to watch this from the strategic view and see how they kill him. This guy really showed that he is indeed that guy. There are Percys with Torps in with Jaguar's comm. What? Percys don't have Torps. Yeah, they only have the main gun. They don't have Torps. Don't know what you're on about, bro. Don't know what you're on about. Yep, T2 gunship shredding the back end of the base. ACU retreating to the core, and Dockel bailing with the disconnect, acknowledging that he has been beaten. Brink, Dockel Percivals hit Yudi from the back. Oh! Oh! That is also a thing, because friendly fire is on. Holy cow, I didn't even think about that. So Yudi was also getting hit from the rear with all of the Percivals behind him. So half that damage or so came from friendly fire. Maybe not half, like a third of that damage came from friendly fire. That's brilliant. Nice pickup, Sharp Mech. I totally missed that. Well played by all of these guys. Ended with a total upset achieved, and this guy advance into the final round of the tournament. This was the semifinal. That is gonna wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.